Welcome everyone to another stream. Today I am joined by none other than Dude, obviously the founder of Helios, the founder of Element 280, and soon to be the founder of E369. Just whilst we wait for people to fill in, how you doing today, Dude? First of all, actually, how you doing?
Excellent. Yeah, it's my normal routine: checking Telegram, checking charts, and checking stats on E280, and yeah, everything's looking great. I saw there's like 500K in sell off on Titan X about 5 hours ago. And that was kind of interesting. That kind of pulled my attention to look into and see what's going on there. But yeah, like I'm basically in heaven, in crypto heaven. This is the place to be right now. So
Yeah, for sure. How do you feel about the launch of Element 280? Because now it's kind of had some time to mature and see after the craziness of launch. What are your feelings towards it at the moment?
it's gone exactly as planned, and it's outperforming what I could have hoped it would do. Um, I knew compounding would be a thing, and it was kind of hard to like simulate how much that cycling would do, and it's just um, yeah, like now that I can see it in action, it's like, yes, this is what I expected to see, but at a different scale. I'd say the most surprising stat is like the number of NFTs that were burned. And I think a lot of people didn't realize like that compounding opportunity, that arbitrage play where you mint and sell on the market. And people didn't have tokens, and they're like, well, I can just burn my NFT and mint another NFT. Um, so I didn't expect that. Like I expected people going into the game knowing, okay, I want an NFT to hold, and then I'm going to mint tokens to compound with. And people didn't mint tokens up front, and now they're like, oh, I get it now. And they're like, now they're doing, I'm seeing a lot more token minting than I did in the beginning. It was tons of NFTs and very little token minting. So now they're kind of understanding the short term and the long term game that's being played in there, and yeah, it's working amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I'll
Breaking,
pull up the stats.
yeah,
The stats alone speak for themselves. Like
yeah.
almost 40% of everything out right now is burnt. Obviously, more could be minted, but do you just quickly want to run through these stats and how it's kind of panning out?
Yeah, first, the big banner at the top. We just broke 9 trillion from Titan X coming in. That's amazing.
Just insane. That is insane. How many
Yeah.
days are left? How many days are left of the mint?
Ooh, 9 days, 17 hours. 9 days, 17 hours. That's what I've been telling people is like, you've got 9 days, 17 hours. If you don't know what E280 is, that's how long you've got to figure it out.
Literally, because after this, it's capped. No more NFTs are ever going to
Yeah.
be minted. You can still, they'll be able to be traded on the marketplace, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But they're going to become insanely scarce, insanely quickly, which I really love that idea. Before, I wasn't too fond of NFTs, but this whole idea of giving them literally a deflationary NFT backed with passive income, it's just
Mhm.
such a unique idea. And yeah, the numbers speak for themselves. I think if we can pull up this is all the NFTs that people are minting. And as you can see, so there was the initial big spike and then it came down, but now it's kind of picking up again, which
Mhm.
is insane. And I think, in my opinion, as there's only 9 days and as we get closer to the end, I think it's going to really start to pick up as people really see the value proposition that's being given. Because how much was paid out in the last um
I want to
weekly day?
say, yeah, I want to say like the first week it was somewhere around 250 to 300K. And then the last week it was 450K, I believe. And like this week we're like not even halfway through and it's at 568K. Like I think at this rate it'll break a million in payouts for 1 week, and that's something that like I could only have dreamed of to happen. To be able to say I've got a protocol that's paying out $1 million in rewards from a single week. I think that's a beautiful stat to show off.
100%. It's insane. Are you worried at all about, obviously, at the moment, is it 16% tax?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then it drops off, doesn't it, to
4%.
4%, yeah. So are you worried about the pools maybe shrinking up a little bit, or do you think the amount of volume that comes in, obviously, to deflationary tokens is going to fuel it to still have decent payouts?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I think there's going to be more arbitrage, but less tax being paid. So maybe it equals out some. To me, like, the value proposition is still, this is a cap supply token. Your NFT is capped. This is something that, like, I don't feel like has been talked about enough, is like every single one of these protocols, you're constantly fighting to continue to hold your share of the stake pool on any of these protocols. This one will be the opposite, where like your share of the pool will only grow as every NFT gets burned, your share gets larger. Like that, it's the exact opposite of everything else that's out there, and I think that's just understated by far.
I think that's going to be so interesting to see. Let's say we go into like a crazy bull run and it goes up and people start cashing out their NFTs. And then we go into a bear market and people keep cashing out. When we hit the next cycle, and let's hypothetically, the volume picks up, everything picks up, those NFTs that have stayed in diamond handed, they're going to be rewarded massively. And that's going to be so interesting to see, because it's going to be difficult. It's obviously difficult to calculate who's going to be here for the long term. But yeah, that's the unique. And then the cycle after, and the cycle after that.
And so there's so many factors. Like, what does Titanx do in these cycles? What do all of these ecosystem projects do in all of those cycles? Like, Element 280 is on top of all of that. So there's tons of variables between E280 and Ethereum, and by design, like, that's what's really going to fuel the arbitrage bots ultimately, is that volatility, but across the entire Titanx ecosystem. But yeah, I don't even want to speculate like what the next cycle is. Like,
yeah,
I want to see what hyper deflation looks like over the next month or two, and because speculating 4 years from now is like, I don't know, that's like crystal ball stuff to me at this point.
Yeah, literally, even the next 2 months is so difficult to understand what's going to happen, because there's so many different variables. Like, users is obviously a massive one, but then it's also projects being launched. It's also, bigger projects like Shogun and X28. What's that going to do when we go to different chains? Like, all these different factors is really difficult. Like you said, a crystal ball is needed because it's so hard to predict. But just this showing how strong E280 is right now, I think, is a really good indicator, because, I mean, I think most people know where Titanx is going. So some strong projects like E280 being built now is going to be, I can't wait to see what happens in the future. That's all I'm going to say. Should we move on to your project that's coming out? Do you want to quickly give us a quick pitch for E369?
Yeah. It's so I'm calling it the expansion pack NFT to E280. Because there's no new token here. This is just an NFT. With E280, like, I was worried about, there's tons of people like yourself that were like, NFTs, that's not for me. No thanks. And like, that's when I was like, well, I'll have the option of just mint tokens, and so if you really don't want an NFT, if you don't want those rewards, you just want to hold the token, you can do that, but now that we've got that out there, and I think we're letting the community understand that there are NFTs out there that can be more than just a JPEG on blockchain. Like, now the users can kind of understand the value proposition of what NFT could look like. And so now with 369, it was like, there's always the question, like, do we need another token? Like, that's if you're trying to force something, if you're trying to force another token, then it's probably not necessary. Like why not use an existing one? And that's kind of where we decided on 369 was like what we're trying to accomplish here. We don't need another token. This is supposed to be built on E280 and utilizing Flux. And that's when we were like, well, let's just use those tokens. So holding this NFT is going to earn you E280 and Inferno and Flux, those 3 tokens. So to me, that's even cooler to say, yeah, E280 and Inferno, those are cap supply deflationary tokens. And this is going to be another opportunity for someone to hold an NFT and earn these cap supply. Like this isn't inflation that we're handing out to people. Like these are coming from buying off the market and handing to people. So like I think it's really going to support those 3 tokens. Inferno's mostly, I mean, we are burning Inferno, but it's mostly supporting Inferno because we're using Flux. And we all know, I guess we can go over why Flux is bullish for Inferno in general. But yeah, I mean, I think let me start over. What 369 is an NFT project utilizing Flux that will earn you E280, Inferno, and Flux. That's the simple answer.
Nice. So like basically a passive income. You hold the NFT, you'll get those free. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So how's it going to work? When a user comes in, talk us through the mint phase, talk us through how it's going to work.
Sure. So it's going to have 3 tiers, just like E280 does. Yeah, if you go to the NFT specs there.
NFT specs, yeah.
Yeah. So same idea. We're going to have common, rare, and legendary. Where we opted out of the amplifier options here and just simplified it with just the 3 tiers. And then it's the same concept, 1x, 10x, 100x, your multiplier. So having 100 commons or 10 rares is the same as 1 legendary. It's just simply for ease for the user. Like how much Titan-X do you want to participate in? Well, there's an NFT for you in there somewhere. So yeah, you're minting these NFTs with Titan-X, and this Titan-X is going into the Flux daily auctions. And this is really the solution that we wanted to provide for the end user is with auction systems, you have to be there every day to participate in that auction, and that auction end time might be at 3 a.m. your local time zone. And it's like, now, so are you setting your alarm for 2:45 a.m. every day to participate? Or are you just YOLOing, midday or whatever? Like this is a way for you to not have to deal with those daily auctions. This is an automated system where it only takes one person to participate in that auction, and that's doing it's a public function that's allowing everybody to benefit from. And so it's got the automatic daily auction participation. And from there, you can see 50% of what we get out of that auction is auto staked, and that's mandatory on the Flux protocol. 25% of it we're max staking to get a piece of that 777 reward. So this is also an opportunity for somebody that doesn't feel like they have enough funds to get into that reward pool. You can hold this NFT and that'll qualify you for it. So it's kind of a workaround to get into that. And then the other 25% is just sent directly to the NFT holder. So this is where your Flux is coming from, just directly out of every day in the auction. We're auctioning Flux. 25% of that's getting distributed to NFT holders.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds absolutely awesome. So basically, you're gonna form a stake in Flux.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but can you run us through? Is it gonna sit before the auctions, or how is it gonna? Is it just gonna buy Flux off market to be max staked, or?
No, 100% of the Flux we're getting is through the auctions.
Yeah, through the auctions. Yeah.
Yeah, and so all of the Titan-X from mints minus the Genesis allocation is going through the Flux auctions. And we'll have a daily cap, so we're not just like all in on one day, like it'll be a set cap. So like every day, say 10 billion Titan X or whatever we decide is best, like it'll just be every day 10 billion goes into the auction. And then the next day we're claiming those Flux. 25% is going to the NFT holders, and the other 75% is getting max staked forever.
Which is awesome. So is that going to be adjustable, the cap of how much Titan X is used per day? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we're kind of unsure on like total participation and, runway. Like we want to be able to adjust that to decide, are Fluxions hot right now, or is the ROI really low? So maybe we should turn that back some and extend our runway. Like it just leaves opportunity for efficiency, really. And this is like this isn't a rug function. Like it's only setting the cap per swap. It's not like we're adjusting Titan X to get sent to my personal wallet or anything.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, we have a general idea, but we really don't know until the token's live or the NFT is live to see how much Titan X do we have and what kind of runway do we have. Because Flux auctions will run for 2,800 days, something like that. I think it's 2,888, I believe.
Something around there. But this is so awesome. So if you did get really high participation, you could literally cut off the Flux issuance rate. So if you had, I'm not sure how much is coming out daily, but if you had a lot of participation, you could literally make Flux deflationary.
Right, because we're not selling a single Flux that we're auctioning for.
Yeah, which is insane. So you're literally going to be cutting off Flux, like these Flux inflation at its source through the auctions. You're cutting it off.
Yeah,
which is absolutely awesome.
And putting all that Titan X that's going into the Flux system, into the payouts, into supporting Burning Inferno, all of those things. Also supporting the HLX treasury. They're sending some of that Titan X to.
Where can we see the percentages for all of the?
No. This is Flux doing these things.
Oh yeah, Flux. Sorry, yeah.
And if you go to Flux website, they on their stats page, you can see what they've sent to each one. Yeah, Titan X sent to Helios.
Nice. Yeah.
So and that's a great thing. We're definitely supporting Flux in these things, and that's a big beautiful thing with Titan X is supporting Flux, supports Inferno, supports Helios. Like it's really easy to support these other projects when they're also supporting others as well. Like it's just refreshing.
Yeah, and that is so bullish because by supporting Flux, like you were saying, you support all these other projects and all the projects built on Inferno, for example, because this is kind of all a kingdom. All the projects are going to benefit from you helping Flux because Flux is actually quite a big burner of Inferno. And the more we burn of Inferno, the more it benefits all the projects built on top of it, which is awesome. And Helios as well. Yeah. So this is, a very unique idea. I would say all the economic energy is kind of being used directly. I think a lot of projects are releasing percentages here and there that are being sent and not directly benefiting them. But this way, it's like all one loop and everything's benefiting each other. Is there anything else in the white paper that you'd like us to kind of run through to help people understand what's going on?
Like the Titan X payout distribution right there below. So, we're going to be accumulating large Flux staking positions. That'll be earning us Titan X. And this is another huge selling point to like, what do these NFTs offer the end user? 30% auto compounded, so this Titan X, that 30% of what we're getting paid out is just circling back into the Flux auctions. So we're going to be as an NFT holder, you're automatically getting daily auction participation, automatic 30% auto compound, and without you having to do anything, and then and then we've got the burning of Element 280, the burning of Inferno, and the burning of HLX in there. So that's again supporting these core protocols that are involved with this project, I would say.
Yeah, which is this is really interesting because I don't think this hasn't been done before ever. When you're actually basically becoming a user, participating in the auctions, but recycling it to the people that hold the NFTs. Do you have plans? Because you could do this for any project really on Titan X that has the same kind of auctions or even the virtual mining. Do you have any plans in the future?
It's definitely been discussed. I'll say like what Utah and I are doing is more on the staking side, and that's I don't want to. What do I?
Don't want to give it away.
Yeah. It's I've thought about that. I like the auto compounding option. That's, to me, is a great thing. And I want to be clear with like people that are in Flux right now that are like, they could be nervous about a smart contract coming in and doing this, but they have to think about like, this is, putting Titan X into the Flux auctions. We're not getting free Flux handouts. Like, we have to accumulate this Flux with our Titan X. And so that's only going to boost the amount of staking payouts for everybody in the protocol. It's going to support the price of the token, right? Because we're never selling these Flux tokens. So I think for Flux in general, this is a really good concept.
Huge benefit. Like you said, all of the Titan X that goes in is going to go back to helping Inferno, helping all the rewards. And even if people weren't participating, that's just hypothetically, no one is, E280 or E369 even is going to be there perpetually, always chugging along, providing Titan X, which is absolutely awesome. Is there anything else? Should we quickly go through the NFT vault? Do you want to quickly explain that?
Sure. Let's see. Yeah, so this is going to be designed very similar to E280 as well, where there's a backing on the NFT that can only be claimed by burning your NFT. So you'll have your weekly rewards, which actually we're setting our rewards on this one every 11 days. And that's kind of like Flux is like on a 4488 like cycle payouts, and so we decided 11-day payouts kind of keeps us in sync with the Flux payouts for the most part. It's kind of why we decided to do that. We're also dealing with multiple tokens, so for gas efficiency, it made sense to extend that out from weekly to every 11 days.
Yeah, for sure.
So every 11 days, like, payouts will be sent to the NFT in rewards and as backing. And so you can claim those rewards just like you can on E280. Every distribution, you claim those. But the backing, the only way to claim that is by burning your NFT. And so that creates that game theory of like, well, how long are you going to hold your NFT for before you decide, you know what, I want that other half.
Yeah.
And then as far as the 777 reward goes, like, there's a cutoff point for that. Like, so you have to mint your NFT at a certain cycle to be eligible for that 777 reward. That'll be a separate payout structure. So if you can't just mint an NFT 60 days before that 777 payout and get a piece of it, you have to it's going to be like basically a year in advance. But you have to be holding that NFT to be eligible for that payout, which we're imagining is going to be one of the largest payouts. Like, it's hard to say, but I mean, we can go look at the Flux pool. What does it look like right now on the payouts?
Let's have a quick look.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
and it's only just started.
right. Yeah, that 88 days looking nice, but think about that the 777 is going to go through like 9 iterations of 88-day payouts. So it's going to be large. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I really like that idea of making it kind of more difficult to get into, like exclusive, so people are who participate and are loyal to holding the NFTs are benefited more, because that is kind of what the 777 for Flux is as well. So I like that you've implemented that into the NFT. That's really, really cool.
And
Yeah.
the rarity of the NFTs, we're doing essentially like a 44 days on, 44 days off of minting cycle. So, and that'll be in sync with the 88-day payout in Flux. So if you want a piece of that 88-day payout, you have to mint in the first 44 days. And the last 44 days, there will be no minting. So it'll just be like a forever on off system cycle of minting NFTs. And
Yeah.
that's primarily just to prevent people from going, oh, there's the 88-day payouts tomorrow. I'm going to mint on day 87, mint an NFT and get that payout and then burn my NFT. Like you can't game the system in that sense. You have to mint at least no later than day 44 to get that 88.
Yeah, which is that I like that, because otherwise there will be people obviously trying to game the system and trying
Yeah.
to take advantage of it. But that's really cool. And this is obviously the input token is Titan X. So
Yep.
let's say the first 44 days people come in with Titan X, but then when it flips over to the next cycle, it could be a lot more expensive. Because if Titan X goes up a lot, then it's going to be a lot more difficult. So I like that. It's basically backed by the Titan X floor price. Like that is what it's going to be backed by, which is really, really cool. Yeah, is there anything we've missed?
I don't think so. I would say it's fairly simple concept, and again, this is really supporting Flux and E280. That's its primary focus, So if you've got an E280 NFT, like this could really be supporting yourself by holding this 369 NFT. It's adding additional burn pressure on the E280 token. So it's like, if you're really bullish on one, then this is like the add-on, like you could hold this and now you're adding on to your position essentially. And then like if you're already in an Inferno or a Flux fan, then this just completely makes sense, in that sector.
Yeah,
So
I really like it. It's like bridging the gap almost.
Yeah.
It's like, bringing Helios and the Inferno Kingdom kind of together as one, and benefiting everyone as well.
Yeah, I think that I'm noticing that's kind of my style is like I'm not really into the kingdoms. Like I like all of it, and like E280 obviously represents that. Like I want to be able to be on a part of everything. And the same thing with Helios. Like we have a treasury of all the tokens now. Like Helios is an E280. We're kind of doing our own thing as far as like the kingdoms go. I think there's some level of tribalism that's always going to be there, and I think we're at a healthy level of it, but I don't really get into it too much myself. Like
I
I
think that's the
really
best.
do like it all.
It is the best way, because then you just have an unbiased point of view. If you see an
Yeah.
opportunity anywhere, you're going to be able to take it. I think that's
Yeah.
the best way. I think everyone should be having that viewpoint as well, because like for this example, you've seen the opportunity in Flux, and you're like, okay, we're going to bridge the gap. We're going to benefit everyone, which is going to be really, really interesting to see. Can we quickly look at Helios and its? Did you say it was on its? Will it be shown on the treasury?
Yeah.
So all of those, which is
That's fun.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just quickly, I think we talked about it in our last stream, but can you just refresh people who don't know how this is going to be used and utilized?
That's the thing is like we've got great ideas, but we haven't finalized that strategy yet. We're looking at, I don't. I'll just say this: like 100% of these funds are going to support HLX in one way or another. I'll say there's two main points that we are attacking, and that's filling the staking pools, and filling the buy and burn. Like those two key elements are really what they want in HLX. The price appreciation of the token and payouts for the stakers. And then a small third section would be like adding to liquidity. I think we want to utilize some of this to thicken up the liquidity between the Titanx and HLX LP.
Yeah.
But the route that we take, like we've got some really cool ideas, and we're discussing that, but we haven't finalized anything. So
it's just nice. It's in your back pocket, isn't it? All of these, and as they grow, and if Titanx and all the ecosystem grows, these numbers are just going to get bigger and bigger.
Right. Yeah. Like Helios is not feeling any FOMO. Helios has got a piece of the entire pie, and the element 280 tokens are Helios is forever in that. Like it's part of the tax structure on the E280 token. Helios gets a piece of that. So the E280 will always be flowing in for HLX. So that's beautiful.
Yeah, genuinely it is. Yeah, that is so cool. And I like that everything's kind of, this is at its core. Helios is the original, and you're kind of, everything you're building is going to benefit it, which I really, really like. Just is there anything else you want to touch on with element 369 to make people just completely clear of exactly what's going on?
No, I think we pretty much covered it. Like I mean, we'll see if anybody's got any questions, but
yeah, if anyone has questions, put them down below for sure. Oh, is there one there already? So at the mint time, the NFT has no backing compared to.
That is correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the backing will grow with the reward payouts. Yeah.
Quite straightforward. Yeah, I think this is such a cool idea. Literally cutting it off at its source. I mean, we already know that the supply of, I'll actually pull it up. The flux supply at the moment is really, really low. Liquid supply is only 9%. And this is from people going into auctions and probably dumping onto the market. And you're basically going to cut this off at its source, which is going to be really, really interesting. And if we just go to the premium, I think it has some good information for flux. Yeah, so this is the liquid flux by hour. And on its own, without anything built on it, it's kind of stabilizing. It's not really increasing to a massive degree, which I think is really interesting. So if you're just going to have E369 built on top of it, what's that going to do to the liquid supply? Because obviously you're going to be staking a lot. So, I mean, if this starts going down, flux becomes deflationary. And if that happens, the price hypothetically could go higher. And then there's more rewards for everyone, all stakers and E369 as well.
Yeah, I think, I mean, as it goes deflationary, like you're saying, it's going to increase participation. So I think at some point it's going to find equilibrium and just kind of go sideways. Like right now it's going up, and then 369 comes out and it starts going down, and then it'll find that level point and just kind of level off.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Is it okay if we move on to Phoenix then? I'd like to run you through it, because Phoenix, for people that don't know, is also going to be built on Flux. So hopefully with Phoenix and E369, it's going to be a combination that's going to massively benefit all of Flux, all of Inferno. So I'm just going to quickly pull up the white paper, if that's all right. Just give me a second. Ooh, not the website. So I don't know, dude, have you had a chance to look at the Phoenix white paper?
I have not. I've heard tidbits here and there on the streams about it. I've kind of got an overview idea, but it's not like the nitty gritty details. No.
Yeah, so I'll run through it and try and make it as simple as possible for you to understand. So there's going to be a 28-day mint period, so 4 weeks. After that, it's going to be completely capped, and it's going to be deflationary after that point.
So open minting, just like E280 is right now, like just 28 days.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. but there is going to be a decrease in ratio. So we obviously want to benefit early participation. So the best ratio is going to be for the first 24 hours. And then after that, it slowly decreases to 1 to 0.8. So that's going to be at the end of the 28 days. But then after that, it's completely capped. The Titan X that comes in is going to go to a few different places. I think this is the easiest way to picture it. So user comes in, deposits Titan X. The Titan X is going to be split. Phoenix is going to have 3 different ownership in 3 different protocols with 3 different stakes. So there's going to be a Titan X stake, a Flux stake, and a Blaze stake. And the rewards we get from those stakes are going to be split between maintaining the stakes and fueling the Phoenix buy and burn. So this is at launch, 8% Genesis, 22% is going to be sent to make a Titan X stake. And there's already a project that's confirmed they're going to be sending Titan X here as well. Because it's basically burnt. It's the same as the Dragon X Vault. If you max stake Titan X, it's basically burnt off market to never be seen again. And then 70% of all the Titan X that comes in is going to route through Inferno before buying, before going to the different destinations. So 28% of all the Titan X that comes in is going to go to Flux. Firstly, the Titan X is going to be swapped to Inferno, and then it's going to be swapped to Flux to be max staked. And for Blaze, it's the same. It's going to buy Inferno, and then it's going to buy Blaze to be max staked. And 35% is going to go to the Phoenix buy and burn / buy and bid, which I will get into in a second. But does that make sense so far, dude?
Yes. So 7% to Blaze. What made you go with these percentages across the 3 staking protocols?
So yeah, I'll get into it. But for Blaze, so basically, I had it at the beginning. It was quite distributed fairly between the 3 stakes. But then I spoke to Jake, and he was like, "You don't want to split your economic energy too much between all 3." So we still want to have that stake in Blaze. So we're selling 7%, but for the first 150 days, 100% of all the rewards we receive from our stake in Blaze is going to be reinvested to make hopefully a decent sized stake in Blaze. After the 150 days of all the Ethereum payouts being reinvested to make a decent stake, we're going to switch it. So then basically half of it's going to be used to maintain that stake, and the other half is going to be used to fuel the Phoenix buy and burn / buy and bid. And that's going to be just before the big payout for Blaze, which is going to be the 288-day payout. So hopefully we should get a decent amount of Ethereum that comes in through that.
Yeah, so you intend on being a Diamond Club member?
Yeah.
Blaze? Okay.
Yeah. And all of the rewards, so half the rewards from these stakes are going to be obviously used to maintain the stakes, and then the other half are going to go to the Phoenix buy and burn / buy and bid. And I'll quickly run through how that works. So this graph, it looks a bit complicated, but it's really not. So these are the 3 stakes. We claim the rewards. Half of it's used to maintain the stake, and then the other half gets sent to the Phoenix buy smart contract. Every time this is triggered by a user, it's going to be in a balance of Titan X. Every time this is triggered, the Titan X gets swapped to Inferno and then gets swapped to Phoenix. That Phoenix that we buy is split. 50% is burnt. The other 50% goes to an auction smart contract. So basically an auction balance. Starting after the mint phase, so day 29, 2.5% of this balance is going to be auctioned off daily. So this is very similar to what Vault has done with their perpetual auctions. And this is never going to end. And all the 3 stakes, as long as there's fuel coming in for the Phoenix buy smart contract, and this is always making it more scarce because we're burning 50% and adding fuel to the auction balance. And I think the main reason I put this in is because I was big into Dragon X, and I remember before Hydra was launched, it kind of reached a valuation where the staking payout in Titan X was quite small compared to its valuation. And I was like, okay, you could say this is overvalued. In this way, there's always going to be a constant flow of Titan X coming in through the daily auctions that's going to mirror the price of Phoenix. So no matter how high or low it goes, there's always going to be a constant flow of Titan X coming through the daily auctions. So the daily auctions is going to be in Titan X. So people can participate, put in Titan X, and they can receive Phoenix tokens. 80% is going to be sent back and recycled to the Phoenix buy smart contract. 5% Genesis, and then 15% is going to go back to maintaining our 3 stakes. So 6.5% is going to go back to our Flux stake, which obviously is going to buy Inferno, then Flux. 6.5% goes to Titan X stake, and then 2% Blaze, which is going to buy Inferno and then Blaze. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's quite, I think it almost looks a little bit complicated, but it's very simple. There's going to be 3 stakes. They're going to be split between maintaining the stakes and fueling the Phoenix buy and burn, basically. Whenever the Phoenix token is brought off the market, they're going to be split between being burned and being sent to a daily auction. And obviously for Flux, this is going to be absolutely awesome because you're going to be cutting off the Flux inflation at its source, and we're going to be market buying it. So if people can't wrap their heads around that, you're going to be slowing the amount that comes out. Maybe it depends on participation, like you said, but you're going to be basically making the rate of flux that comes onto the market decrease, and then we're going to be market buying. And if the flux price, if we can between our projects somehow, hypothetically, not financial advice, pump it up a 2x, there's going to be 2x the amount of rewards for everyone, all of your NFT holders, the Phoenix buy and burn, all the flux stakers, and there's going to be even more that is going to go to burn Inferno. So we did think, like you, to maybe burn Inferno directly, but I think by benefiting Flux, obviously they have the whole mechanics behind them that burns Inferno. So I think this is going to be so good for Flux because, yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts, dude?
I agree 100%. Like, it's hard for people to understand like how good it is for a protocol because we haven't seen it to where we're buying all this stuff off market or we're participating in the daily auctions. Like the amount of rewards that we're gonna boost in the Flux protocol itself, I think is hard for people to understand. So, but you and I obviously in design we are seeing this and we agree that like seeing like, oh, hey, he's using the Flux protocol. It wasn't like, oh, what the hell? Like now it's like ruining my project. No, it's like I think together it's even better, right?
It's a massive benefit. It's huge. It's genuinely huge because if we can both together, one project to pump up the Flux price is probably quite difficult. 2 projects, it's a little bit easier. And if we can between us push up the Flux price, it benefits everyone.
Yeah.
So I think us both doing this similar times. What's the schedule looking like for launch for E369 at the moment?
Very soon.
Yeah.
We're looking at like a week or 2 after minting is closing, actually. So mid to late November, I would say.
Exactly the same time as Phoenix.
Okay.
We're gonna be in mid-November as well.
Do you have an actual date set or
not yet? So we've started testnet today, and then we're going to start audits as soon as we can. So hopefully by the end of this week, if not next week, and then it's just depends how long they take. We're going to do 2 audits. If we need to, obviously we'll do 3, but 2 audits. So it should be around mid-November as well.
Nice.
Yeah,
that'd be cool, and it's still, and like we haven't really discussed, E280 is on Flux as well, like that's again another roundabout way of supporting yourself. Like if you're an E280 user or a Phoenix user, like, or you're in Flux, like all of these participating in these protocols are supporting yourself as well in that sense. So yeah, that's exciting. And hyperdeflation starts November 8th. So maybe mid to late November, we start really seeing what is Titan-X all about? What have we been talking about? How is this going to look? And just Titan-X going up is like means even more Flux participation, I think. So
100%. And I think it is, people haven't really woken up to the idea of the auctions with Blaze and with Flux. Like they're very unique. And I was just speaking about it with Jake on our stream before, but you only need a few projects and they can go deflationary. And then the price could hypothetically go much higher. And then there's hypothetically a lot more Titan-X or Ethereum coming in through the auctions. And I hope for Blaze, there's more to come. I think I've heard something about some people building on Blaze, which is going to be awesome. And obviously that's just going to benefit, like all the projects building on top of these auction mechanics are just going to benefit each other. So
Yeah.
I'm so bullish on this. I think, yeah, these ideas are so good. And with Flux, the liquid supply at the moment, look how low it is, 9%, and there's nothing built on top of it.
Yeah.
Just inject a bit of buy pressure. You're going to cut it off at the source. Phoenix is going to add a little bit of buy pressure to that. I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. So like as a Phoenix holder, like you are just holding the token, right? And you're getting that value through this perpetual buy and burn, right? That's being fed from your staking payouts.
Yep. Yep. So it's just going to be, yeah, it's similar to Dragon X or Vault. You just buy and hold.
Okay.
I think I would love to, obviously I haven't touched anything else because I just want to focus on this, but I love the idea of setting up some kind of staking system for hyper deflationary stuff. I think that would be really, really cool. So people could stake their Phoenix or their Dragon X or their Vault, and they could just earn more of all of them. But obviously, I'm going to focus on Phoenix first. And yeah, you just have to buy, hold, and if you want to sell, you can get out anytime, obviously. And I think that is, obviously, there's a pros and cons to it, but I think that is a really cool value proposition because if you want to get out, you can.
Is it a single LP that you've got?
So our main LP is going to be Phoenix Inferno.
Inferno. Okay. Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting because the buy and burn routes through Inferno, and for to maintain our Flux stake, it routes through Inferno, and to maintain our Blaze stake, it routes through Inferno. So it's going to be an interesting kind of double buy effect because we're going to be pumping up Inferno, and then we're going to go on to buy Phoenix to pump that up. So yeah, I mean, I love what they did with Dragon X and Baby Dragon X, and that's why this is going to be the only LP at launch. Obviously, people can make LPs whenever they want, but that's going to be the main one. So it's going to be kind of a leverage play on Inferno.
Yeah. I Josh said it one time, the bunny hop burn, and it's like the double buy burn, like it's awesome. It is like you don't see that anywhere else. These bonded LP plays are just so much fun, and and I've seen it, with E280, like all of it's double buy and burn, or sometimes triple buy and burn, and yeah, it's really cool to see. It definitely works.
Even for Element 280, you guys, I've seen for Blaze, you guys have you guys burnt a lot of Blaze?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Where can we see those statistics?
On the stats page.
I'll pull it up quickly.
Yeah.
And is it for other projects as well?
Oh yeah. All of them.
Yes, look at that.
So
yeah,
almost 60,000.
Almost 60,000. So let's just pull up. Let's just pull up and see how much dollar value that is.
Yeah, we decided against putting that on the website because it ended up being a ton of RPC calls and math, and it was slowing down the load times. And it was like we only put the USD value of elements in there. We're like, good enough.
Yeah, almost 100K worth of Blaze.
Yeah,
has been. How long has Element 280 been live?
18 days.
18 days. That is so, and that's obviously not just Blaze. I'd like to point that out. Yeah, it's literally, look at all these projects. Look at all of this. It's insane.
It still makes me laugh. I was on a stream with Eric, and he was like, "Wait, is this right? You burned 4 billion Dragon X?" And I was like, "Yeah, buddy, yeah." Like he's like, "Oh, I didn't even know." And I'm like, "Yeah." And now I look at it; it's 7+ billion now. Dragon X buy and burn. Yeah,
which is insane. Honestly, insane. Like from our last stream, it was I was bullish on E280, but I mean, honestly, it's blown me away. How well it's been performing. How do you kind of feel? Is this what you expected, or is it kind of blown you away as well?
It's a little bit of both. I'd like to say that like I designed this with these simulations and I expected this kind of outcome, but I'm not like not trying to hype myself up. So I do like very realistic or dumbed down simulations, like, and it's performing as designed, and it's just performing very well. I think a lot of people are seeing the potential there. It's great, and it's not like it's just a straight community service that we're burning all these tokens. Like the idea is E280 is built on top of all these tokens. E280 is on top of Blaze and Dragon X Inferno. And so by buying and burning those tokens, it's supporting ourselves as well. So it's great.
100%.
Yeah.
And can you share any more now about the V2 for
that's going to be like, so V1 was great and that was fun. V2 is going to be straight Titan X buys E280, burn E280.
nice.
Just a direct from Titan X to E280 buy and burn. So that's, like, I feel like we got everybody's attention with burning, the entire ecosystem and what we're trying to do. And now that we're positioned and we've got all our LPs in place, which we're always adding additional LPs. We've already added Pulsar, Ouroboros, Alien X, Lotus.
Nice.
So yeah, when Phoenix comes out, we'll definitely add that. It's all community led, like we can't mint these tokens anymore. Like it's cap supply, so they have to come from somewhere. So it's we'll create the LPs, but like how thick they are is going to be community led. But
yeah,
every LP we add is just adding additional arbitrage opportunities. And as even if it's a small like $1,000 LP with Phoenix, imagine if Phoenix does a 10x, now that 1,000 is worth 10,000. So that's one thing that like I always point out to people is like, remember when Baby Dragon X had a 50K LP?
yeah,
remember? And now it's well over 1 million. Like that's what I want to see. That's why I'm like, we'll create all these LPs and just the ecosystem will do its own job as these kingdoms and all these ecosystem tokens as they go up in value, the E280 LPs will all just go up with it, so
it's the way you market it as the Titan X easy button, it is literally doing its thing, and it's absolutely insane. I mean, where did you even come up with the idea for the liquidity web? Because even Jake now is talking about Shogun, and he was saying he's going to do a similar liquidity web. So I mean, how did you even come up with that idea?
The original idea, like we had this idea months ago, and the original idea was actually have the actual tokens in there. And it got super complicated, and it was just like, this just isn't working. Like it doesn't make sense, and we just shelved it. And then that's when I had the idea, like, we don't need the actual tokens. Like if you're bonded with the token in an LP, it's following the price of that underlying token. As Flux goes up 2x in value, that E280 LP goes up 2x in value. And that's when we realized, we don't actually need these tokens. We can just have the liquidity web. And then that's when I was like, well, I have Giannis already, so I understand what a liquidity web can do. And now Giannis is paired with basically everything in Pulse Chain, and it's got like 30 or 40 LPs on it. And that's cool. Like, but I felt like this is much better because it's only in the Titan X ecosystem. So it's not getting, drugged down by like Binance Coin or Base or like any of these coins that are outside the Titan X ecosystem. Like this is just concentrated liquidity within there, and as, like I said, more tokens come out, we'll still include those as long as it's within the Titan X ecosystem.
But that's the perfect thing about it, because everything, the base layer is Titan X, and the whole kind of ethos, the whole kind of system, the way it's built is everything carries as Titan X goes up, everything else is carried with it. And instead of you having loads and maybe one being completely out of the ecosystem, out of control, this is like a perfect way that everything gets lifted together, and Element 280 is just that perfect web on top of it.
And then like how do you pay out rewards, and that's where the the arbitrage comes in and the web of liquidity. That's where that comes in. Like now you've got bots that are happy to come in there and buy and sell this token. And like I saw the example y'all were talking about earlier. It was like an
It was
arbitrage
insane.
bot. Yeah, it paid like $200 in fees to NFT holders, but it earned like $15-16, I think is what it was for itself. But everybody else won in that process.
They won absolutely massively. $200 went to them, and then $16 they made. So, and obviously they have these bots set up to always do it. I mean, when you were running through all the bots and how they worked, I was like, okay, this makes sense. But I didn't understand how crazy how crazy it can actually be. So
And
it is
people are
so
like, why would a bot pay 16% tax twice? And you're like, to make $16, they will. It's all a math problem. And they're doing it all in a single transaction. They don't care what element 280 is. They don't care what hyper is or whatever pool they're routing through. Like they're going in and back out to Ethereum, which is all they care about. And that's supporting, like, think about all of these LPs, like hyper. Every single LP in the ecosystem is smart contract controlled. So like it's generating volume in all of those pairs as well and thickening up that liquidity. Like with HLX, Titanx, all the liquidity fees that goes back into the pool to thicken it up. And I think pretty much the whole ecosystem's like that. Either they're burning tokens or they're adding to the LP. And so these arbitrage bots are adding additional volume through everything. That's what I love about farms as well, is like farms has thickened up the liquidity on all these pools, allowing for larger arbitrage plays and, just more volume to flow through these pools. And that's equaling more taxes being paid on the Uniswap LPs. And just it's kind of like snowballing, like as we continue to grow, these smart contracts are going to continue to grow their LP size, and those are, like it's not human controlled. Nobody's ever going to dump that. Like it's always going to be there. Like Titanx has forever LPs,
which
E280
is
we burned all the E280 LPs because it's on V2, so there's not even any rewards to collect. It just auto compounds with every trade. So
it is. I think building, because I was in the kind of crossroads between building and just sitting on my bag and waiting. But I think building now with everything going on, it's just for anyone out there that is looking to build, I think just do it. If you have a unique idea, like we're talking about Element 280, obviously, because it's launched and it's doing so well. But there are loads of projects like E369, like Phoenix, that haven't even released yet. And who knows what's going to happen then? I mean, this ecosystem is, like you were just saying, it's so, I feel like it's just concrete, it's set, and now it's just building all the different components on top of it to just see how high we can go. Basically.
And I'd like to point out as well, if you don't have a kingdom that you're cemented in and you don't know where to go, like E280 is the solution there. You can build on E280 and then there's no picking of a kingdom. You're building on top of the entire ecosystem.
That is such a good point. Mm-hmm. Are there plans? Have you spoke to any? Wow, building on E280 would be very smart.
Yes, sir.
It would be very smart. Are there any talks in other projects coming over yet, or?
Yeah, absolutely. Utah and I are building on E280.
Nice.
This other project that we're working on, another easy button for the ecosystem, we'll say, is it's built on E280, and it's the same idea. Like we want to include everything in the ecosystem on this project, and it just made sense. Well, why not build on the token that's including everything in the ecosystem as well? And it's like, it just made perfect sense on how to run that. So
I never even thought of that angle, to build on top of hyper deflationary project that is benefiting all. It's like like you said, the easy button spread between everything. That is, yeah, such a cool. Who knows? Yeah, maybe that'll be a whole new kind of kingdom that comes up and has.
Right. And then how do you, what, do you call that a kingdom? Because it's like it's built
Like
on
the
top
overseer.
of the other kingdoms. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
it gets. Yeah, so we have quite a lot of comments. I've
Okay.
been yapping away. Callum, me and you think it's scary. Ooh. So Utah is who you're building with.
Yes. Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
And then also there's Volt Gold. That's going to be, so you can't, I don't know if you want to consider 369, it's not a token. So it's not necessarily built on E280. It's utilizing the token. But we've got 369, Volt Gold, and then this new project with Utah and I. So that's 3 projects.
That is, yeah. Do you have a list of projects or ideas and you're just kind of slowly working through them?
Pretty much. At this point, I'm like, no more ideas. Like, stop throwing them at me. Like, I have 2 more, like, well, let's say 3 more that are like very high priority to me. That it's just like more things keep coming up, and I'm like, dude, I just need another developer. I guess is really what needs to happen. I need to be expanding the team to get all these things out, because I definitely don't have a shortage of ideas, and the whole space is rapidly changing, and just like crypto does, like every 4-year cycle, it's like completely different, I feel like. And I don't see that changing anytime soon.
I think Todd asks, where do we mint? I think that might be for Element 280.
Yeah, it's all under the E280 branding, so it'll be all in one website. And so we're trying to let the E280 minting go through its cycle. Once that E280 is done minting, we'll shut that down for at least a week or so, and then we'll reopen up the mint page for Element 369 NFTs.
Nice. Yeah, that's really cool. And then whatever's after that, E88 or 888 or
Right.
whatever's next after that. Yeah, that's really cool.
Well, yeah, and we will include that as well. So it'll all be like a one-stop shop, site where you can do all the things.
Yeah. Someone said they're here to perform their daily E280 for us.
Thank you.
So I think this might be a question about the Element 280 V2.
Yeah, we're gonna let V1 run its course before we're gonna put a start button on V2. We're gonna let that just kind of start building up Titan-X, and then we'll let V1 run its course, and then once V1 is complete, then we'll just switch over to V2.
Yeah. Another question for E280.
So how does it help Element 280? We are directly burning E280, so that's pretty straightforward there. And the NFT holders earn Element 280 tokens, yes, but what do we get? Yeah, so you're getting Element 280 tokens, and we are burning it. So like you're earning a deflationary token, just like Inferno. Inferno, you're going to be earning Inferno tokens, and it's not just us. Flux is burning it. All these other, they've got their V2 buy and burn, which I'm not sure what all's being fed into that, but it won't be empty. I know that. So, yeah.
Big fan of Element 280. The NFT innovation is bonk. It is. It is.
Yeah.
It is actually
Thank
bonkers.
You can transfer E280 NFTs. There's no tax on transferring those NFTs. It's only on the token itself. So send those wherever you want, buy and sell them, whatever you need to do. There's no tax involved on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think wow, we've had a lot. Thanks everyone for the comments. I think this has been a really, really good stream. I mean, should we just quickly give it a brief overview again? So run through elevator pitch for E369. Shoot, go for it.
It's an NFT project. It's an add-on for E280, utilizing the Flux protocol, which is, kind of what this whole stream was supposed to be centered around. Really, is the future of Flux. NFT project that earns you deflationary cap supply tokens, Element 280 and Inferno, and then Flux thrown in there on top of that.
And I really like how it's just Element 280 at its core, and then you're just adding value on top of value for everyone involved, and also helping Helios as well in the background, which is awesome. So I really like the web that you've built between all your different projects. I like the way you're continuing to do it. I think that's kind of going to be shown by all builders, because you want to benefit the stuff that you've already built for sure.
Oh yeah. All right, so then Phoenix. Why, let's hear that real quick.
So just a brief overview. Phoenix is going to be cap supply deflationary. There's going to be a 28-day mint period. The first day is going to be the best ratio, and that's going to slowly decrease. The Titan X that comes in during that mint phase is going to be used to make 3 stakes: Flux stake, Blaze stake, and Titan X stake. Those stakes, as we get rewards, are going to be split between maintaining those stakes and fueling the Phoenix buy smart contract. Every time that's triggered by a user, the main LP for Phoenix is going to be Phoenix Inferno. Every time it's triggered, it buys Inferno. So it's sat in Titan X, buys Inferno, then buys Phoenix. So a little double buy effect there. And then when the Phoenix that's brought is going to be split 50-50, half of it's going to be burnt off market forever. The other half is going to be sent to an auction balance. And starting after the mint phase, so day 29, there's going to be daily auctions with 2.5% of that balance being used in return for Titan X, which is all the Titan X that comes in is basically recycled into the project. So it's going to have 4 separate streams of income that are all going to be used to make it hopefully hyper deflationary. That's the goal.
Yeah, the perpetual nature of it, I think, is very important. That's something that I always try to design in everything that I've got. Regardless of participation, Phoenix is going to be getting those staking payouts. The auction, daily auction, it's going to be pulling in Titan X. Like, you're incentivizing people to throw more Titan X into it every time, every day. So love it.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I can't wait. And I completely agree. I think the sustainable nature of projects should be what people are thinking about more, because you want your project to be here for the long run. We all know where Titan X is going. I'm thinking super long term. I'm thinking, next cycle, the cycle after. And if your project is here to stay, it's literally like having prime real estate in a city that hasn't yet had a huge influx of people coming in. So it's huge. Yeah. Sustainability is definitely huge.
Yeah, if Titan X was to be growing into a New York City, like right now, we're like a little farm town.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing. All the builders are coming in. There's like the little districts getting formed, the Inferno district, the Dragon X district. And then Element 280 is just kind of spread out of everything.
Yeah. We're just going to be like the 7-Eleven. We're going to be on every corner.
Exactly, yeah. And obviously Helios is just going to be there sat in the background. Is there any plans to build directly on Helios?
Yeah,
I know.
The first goal, really what I want to achieve is the omni chain. Like I want it to be ready to really spread its wings and move out. Like when X28 comes out and Titan X goes omni chain, we're going to be right there ready to go with that. And I think that's going to be very important for expanding, like as other people and other chains start to realize what Titan X is, like we want HLX right there next to them to be like, hey, we're right here. We are one of the OGs. You should check us out.
Set up your little 7-Eleven right at the entrance. Right at the entrance, they come in. They're like, oh, what's this? Yeah, for sure. Exactly. So how do you go around doing that, or do you not have that information to share yet? How do you go around
making HLX omnichain?
Yeah.
It's essentially going to be a new token that's only mintable from HLX, like a 1-for-1 type of situation. So
nice.
So it's, think of it as like HLX 2.0, and that 2.0 token will be able to go to any other chain, but the value of it is still kind of backed by the original HLX token. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Damn.
there's going to
Okay.
be a little additional like tweaks to that, but essentially that's what it'll be, is like a 1-for-1 exchange for a token that is convertible into any chain.
You know, one thing that's awesome about you is I think with a lot of builders, like you look at their project and you're looking at their project. I think with you, because you have all these plans in the future as well. Obviously, the projects are showing for themselves they're good, but you're talking about continuously building on top of them to improve them. I think that's such a huge selling point for people who come in. So yeah, that's going to be really exciting to see. Because I think, yeah, Helios could be its own kingdom on its own, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I think like so my main goal for a long time was like I want to build these treasuries, because that's what I feel like the treasuries doesn't require any user participation. These are things that just work on their own. Just like you're saying with your stakes, like you don't care if people are coming or going. These stakes are going to be buying this token and burning it. And that's what I was thinking. And then I'm realizing as I'm going along, like using HLX as an input token really does wonders, or as any of these projects are. That input token is really what accelerates the adoption of that token.
Yeah.
And so I do realize that, and like I am pivoting towards that, and like I think some of my future projects are going to be geared towards that, where it's like you're going to need the HLX token to participate in this, and I think that's, I mean, on its own, I think it's doing just fine, but um, I don't know. Well, yeah, I'll leave it at
I
that.
mean, yeah. I think that's such a good idea. But would you give fair notice to people? Like
Oh
a
yeah,
lot of notice, yeah, because then people could enter Helios, start miners. When the miners finish, they could go to
well,
your.
yeah. I mean, if you're doing a 250-day miner, like
Oh yeah, that's
by the
that is quite.
time,
That's quite a long time, isn't it?
yeah, by the time that miner matures, there's going to be all kinds of things to do with your HLX. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, no doubt.
Nice. And yeah, Jake was saying Helios has kind of entered its second stage of its minor cycle. What?
No, it had its second stage. Like, it's getting there. Like, if you look at like what is our ROI is like at 0 right now. Let me see, minus
I'll put that up as
9%.
well. Yeah. Did it touch profitable for a second?
It may have,
Yeah, I think it
but
was close.
you know how crypto bros are. Like, they're not going to get excited over a 10% ROI. Like,
Yeah.
we need triple digit ROIs to catch anybody's attention.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. Like, it's a mining is double edged. Like, it's bringing in value to the protocol, but you're inflating the token. Now, at least with this design, same, modeled after Titanx, if you want to mine it now, you're paying more and getting less. So as time goes on, we're getting all that value, but way less inflation. So it's really working out for us. I think like HLX is gonna it just needs like a little tiny nudge, just a little kick, and I think it's just gonna like really showcase what it can do. I mean, I think just people like all the stats are there on the site, but you can't really spoon feed people like on what exactly does all this mean. I mean, you look at the treasury page, and it's like, how many different tokens can we throw at you to show you like the value of
Yeah.
what is to come of HLX?
And I love this idea because, like you were talking about before, how Baby Dragon X just absolutely shot off.
Yeah,
If one of these tokens just shoots off, I mean, some of them obviously already have, like, these are going to get really, 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 really valuable, which is super
right.
interesting. And I think we talked about this last stream, but the Titan X stake is literally worth 1.7 million. The market cap of Helios is worth 1.5 million. I think that's, yeah. Oh, yeah. I've completely forgot. Walk us through. It's been day 369. So,
Uh,
How do you
it's
feel?
just how do I feel? I don't think it's hit me yet. You know, like I was looking at the chart and I'm like, yep, the buy and burn's running and people are selling right into it. And I'm like, uh, how could I have expected anything different? You know, and it's just funny to me. And I'm like, well, what did you think would happen when we get our payout, the buy and burn kicks off, and we've got a double buy and burn going on right now because E280 is buying and burning HLX with now our own buy and burn, and I can see sellers are fighting it, you know, and that's cool. You know, I don't control the market. I have nothing to do with it. The open market will do what it wants to do, and like I think it's easy for me as a founder because I know all the things that are coming, and it's like
Yeah.
I I'm not worried, you know. But as a user, maybe they are worried, and I think a lot. It's funny actually. I saw two transactions today. They were selling HLX so that they could go mint an E280 NFT, and and I was like, how do I feel about that? I don't, you know, is that good or
Yeah.
bad? Like, I guess that's good, you know, like it's just it made me laugh. Like that's somebody that's like they're just trying to play the game and they're, you know, trying to play the game of ratios and they think, oh, E280 is hot, you know, HLX has got, you know, maybe they're thinking there's not the ROI there that there is over here and they're making those plays, you know, like it's hard to speculate on what everybody's doing on the market, but I thought it was funny that literally the two transactions that I clicked because I was like, well, let's see how much they have to sell, you know, and
Yeah.
then I was like, wait, sell mint E280. I'm like,
Out
okay,
of one into the other. Yeah.
yeah, all right. I can't be mad at that play. I can't. So, you know, and I can't lie that E280 is hot. But again, that drives value. Like HLX is forever earning E280 tokens, like a
Yeah.
capped deflationary supply, and HLX is going to be having a forever stream of it. So
Which
that's
is, yeah.
it's going to turn into another treasury, just like our Titan X treasury. We've got our Wonderland treasury. There's going to be an E280 treasury of sorts that never goes away and is always supporting our stakers and our buy and burn. So that's why I call it the zombie protocol. Like if you want to sell and go away, cool. Like this project will function all on its own. The bots will play with it and the bots will own it. I don't know. Like it can't it won't go away. Like
Yeah.
that's
And
stake tightness. Yeah.
yeah, as an investor, if you're just looking at that, I think that's such a bullish characteristic for protocols to have. Just no matter what, it's just going to keep chugging along and it's going to always be there. I think that is, yeah, huge. Weaponhead said it was him, apparently, that the transaction. And he also said he has H rank 7.
Yes, yeah. No, Weaponhead, he's you know
It's insane.
he's a good. I'm happy to have him on board, and I know he's big in HLX. You know, I've talked to him in DMs, like and yeah, he's got a good heart. I think what he wants for HLX is everything, you know, positivity and all that good stuff. So I'm
Yeah.
happy to see him around.
How do you feel about the Titan X community at the moment? Because
I
I
don't
think
know.
it's go on.
I was gonna say like what? No, I'm not really sure. I think I'm really in my own little bubble right now. You know, so it's hard to look outside of it and see. So I'm curious what your thoughts
I
are.
mean, yeah, maybe I've been lucky with all the interactions I've had, but all founders and all streamers are so positive and
Oh,
so easy to speak to. So it's just been, yeah, it's so good. I hope this continues for as long as possible. This kind of unity, everyone working together. Like you said, we've got projects that you could view as competitors, but
mhm.
it's not really because everything is going to benefit each other. I
Yeah.
mean, ours is a bad example, but maybe with Phoenix
No,
entering,
even still, just indirectly, all of them are supporting us at the very minimum indirectly
yeah,
by in you know you're adding use case for Titan X, you're locking up Titan X. That on its own right there supports every protocol built on Titan X. Simply put, so
yeah, every game, every play.
But I
Titan
thought you were talking about like the users and community in general. No, as far as the builders and the influencers and everything, like yeah, I love it. All of these streams that I do, it's just like I'm just hanging out with my friends type of vibe. You know, like
Yeah.
it's very chill and I love it. So I hope that does continue. Um, but yeah, like I think just the ecosystem, man. There's so much room to grow. It is growing. You know, we're at 18.2 thousand users now. Like I remember wasn't long ago we were at 15,000 and 16,000, 17,000,
I remember
18.
it was like 13,000 and some change. We were sat on for weeks and weeks and weeks. That's where it got to, and then that's where it plateaued. And I remember looking at that statistic before Titan X Hub had everything. It was on the Dune.com dashboard. I remember always checking that, and I remember thinking, "Oh no, all the users have capped off." And now it's just absolutely picked up again.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't see a reason why it would stop because we have everything here. We have more projects than users, really. We have everything set in place. We have everything set in place for huge adoption. And like Jake, he literally has X28 ready. He's just waiting for the right amount of users, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? But I think he's just waiting for a lot of users to come in, a lot of people to see Titan X, and then boom, everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, November 8th has been mentioned quite a few times. It's going to be after that, you know, which is just a little over a week away. So, yeah, yeah. It's mind-boggling that we're here. Like 369 was great. You know, and the ETH payouts, especially for us specifically, I'm very happy to have that in the Helios ecosystem. That's by design. This will happen again and again, and I'm very looking forward to Titan X mining coming back so that we can start getting those 8-day payouts and the 90-day payouts. Like instead of waiting an entire year for another big payout, I think we're going to start getting that ETH in the regular payouts again very soon. Like,
And Helios has over $1 trillion.
yeah.
Over $1 trillion Titan X staked. 1.7 million.
Forever, and that's going to be hard to accumulate. Think about projects coming out 6 months from now. You think they're going to be pulling in $1 trillion plus Titan X? You
Yeah.
know,
Like for Phoenix, I hope we can get a decent stake, but obviously $1 trillion is compared to what it was before. It was like very easy to obtain.
Yeah.
If you're a new project launching now, it's
Right.
going to be very difficult to build that decent stake in Titan X. So yeah, having that in its back pocket for Helios is huge. Is literally huge. Let's see some comments. Dude, I woke up to you waving at the screen last night. I even slept through you guys. What? What? I mean, yeah, I think we've pretty much covered everything. Yeah, back to the title of the video for the future of Flux.
Yeah.
We are both building on Flux. It's gonna be benefiting everyone, each other's protocols, all the stakers. There's gonna be hopefully, obviously, none of this is financial advice and all hypothetical, but it's all gonna be benefiting each other. If we push up the Flux stake, it benefits everything. It benefits Inferno because Flux is a huge Inferno burner. Obviously, E369 burns Inferno as well. All the projects built on top of Inferno are going to benefit. This is going to be, I'm so excited, especially that they're going to be launching kind of similar times. It's going to be, that's going to be so cool to see. So yeah, and around the corner with obviously hyper deflation coming for Titan X as well. It feels like this is going to be the perfect storm for Flux.
Yeah. I feel like Christmas is coming early this year.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. I mean, is there any kind of final message you'd like to leave for everyone watching then, dude?
No, just, you know, E280.
9 days left.
That to be 9 days left. That's the focus. You know, don't even worry about 369. We'll get to that in a couple of weeks. E280 is where it's at. Check it out.
Yep, definitely. Yeah. Thank you everyone for coming in. I really appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for coming. Bye guys.
See ya.